Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Soccer Showdown. Jersey Joe Archino and Michael Holzer back in the arena. And right now, there's a little tension in this room, and you can just feel it. The UEFA Champions League semifinals coming up next week. Michael's FC Bayern Munich against my FC Barcelona. It's going to be a very exciting. I mean, look, Real Madrid and Juve, it's a great Final Four we have here. But Michael, take me first to the Bayern Munich-Barcelona game. We highlighted it a little bit last week. Have any of your thoughts changed since that time?
No, I mean, I think that Barcelona right now is going to win the game because Bayern Munich has too many injuries.
The injuries, yeah.
All of the good players are injured. Last game again, Robin was coming back from his injury, got subbed in. Now he's injured again. Same with Lewandowski on top. He's injured now as well. So I think it's going to be very, very tough to beat Barcelona if you have your best players missing out. So it's going to be tough, but we will give everything, and I'm hoping we can see a good match.
Now, if you do, let's say Bayern does beat Barcelona, I'm with you. I think Barcelona will find a way to get it done. It's mainly the injury thing. I just think if it's a healthy Bayern Munich, fully healthy squad going in, it's really a coin flip because both sides are just tremendous. But I think with those players out, it might be a little bit too much to overcome with how well Barcelona's played. But if Bayern Munich does advance, if they play Juve or Real Madrid, do you think that their style is going to be a little bit too much for them to handle?
Yeah, I mean, Bayern Munich's style is always good, and they always struggle, though, against Juventus or, like, Italian teams in general. Yeah. But I think Bayern Munich would have had an easier game if they play against Real Madrid than Juventus Turin. I just have that feeling that they do better against Spanish teams but than, like, Italian teams. But the problem right now is really Bayern Munich has a lot of going on. They suspended their doctors, the injuries. They just lost yesterday in the German semi-final, and it's a must-win for them. They always have to win the German Cup, and they lost in the semi-finals against Dortmund. So there's a lot of going on right now. Maybe that's a good thing, looking forward to the game, but let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see. Well, let's go on to a minute, though, to the Juve in the Real Madrid side. Now, it's going to be, I mean, look, I think it's funny. When you look at the matchups we have in the UEFA Champions League, I think you can definitively say you have the best team in Italian football, the best team in German football, and then you can kind of split the two in La Liga. But definitely, these are probably the four best squads in the world right now. And I think from a Real Madrid standpoint and a Juve standpoint, it's close. I still give my edge to Real Madrid. But I think when you look at Juve, I watch a lot of Juventus. Buffon's been incredible. I mean, I think he has the most clean sheets of any goalkeeper in the tournament so far. The only thing I think that keeps Juve away from beating Real Madrid is no Paul Pogba. I think if Pogba is there, it's a different story. Carlos Tevez has played very well, but I think you still are just missing something without Pogba in that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Real Madrid-Juventus is obviously an unbelievable matchup. Like, I don't know who's going to win that game because either way, any team can win the game. I still have a little feeling that Juventus Turin is going to go through. Maybe it's because I'm German and I'm always scared about Italian teams. I'm always scared because we always lose against them and they just have like something magic, I think. But let's see what Pirlo can do and Tevez can do.
Well, look, and that's the reason I can't count them out. And especially, I mean, look, Real Madrid is playing very well right now. No Bale and no Benzema, but they've had guys who've stepped up. Chicharito has played very well and has stepped up for them. And James Rodriguez, I mean, since he's come back from his injury, which he's been injured almost all season, they finally have a guy who's being a willing passer, setting up the offense, creating chances for people. And Michael, we've talked about it a lot on this show. Sometimes that Real Madrid squad, when you have Benzema and Bale and Ronaldo, all three of them are trying to be the hero and they're not creating enough chances. So I think from a standpoint like that, sometimes Real Madrid stars are kind of their own demise.
I think also Chicharito is a very good player. I think he's so small, technical, so solid. He has a good finishing touch. So I think Chicharito fits very well and he's very underrated in my opinion. I always liked him and I think he pairs very good with Ronaldo, and I think they're going to be even more dangerous maybe because he's so motivated and he just scored 2 goals again on the weekend. So I think he's ready to go.
Do you think Carlo Ancelotti kind of thinks about changing things up a little bit, because the lineup he's been putting out on the pitch has been tremendously successful? Certainly has been getting a lot better ball movement and creating opportunities with this lineup than they've had with Bale and Benzema. So does he change it up at all and stay with this?
I mean, there's a famous saying in soccer. It is never change a winning team. And I think that what he has to do, he had success with the team. There's no reason to change it up. It doesn't matter the names. If you continue winning, you should stick with your team, with the lineup, and continue rolling.
Very interesting point there. Now, so I think for the most part, we are both kind of agreed then. We have Barcelona and we both have Real Madrid. So honestly, you can't get a much better matchup than that. At the end of the day, Michael, who's going to be crowned champions?
I think it's going to be Barcelona.
Sticking with Barcelona.
You have the jersey already on?
Yeah, I kind of, we're all set. We kind of anticipated already on this show.
I definitely think Barcelona, it's the year of Barcelona. They have the best attack. They are pretty lucky with injuries this year. Bayern Munich is unlucky. Real Madrid is unlucky. Let's see about Juventus, but yeah, I would say FC Barcelona.
It's funny, too, because that's a really good point where right now, all three of those other clubs, aside from Barca, have significant injuries. I mean, Juventus with Paul Pogba, you have the two we mentioned with Bayern Munich, and then we have Bale and Benzema, whose status has been up in the air. So I think health has certainly been on Barca's side this year. I mean, especially with Messi having not had troubles like he did a season ago. It's interesting. It does seem like it is the year for Barcelona. And it's funny because I remember early in the year when we were doing this show, there was the controversy with Barcelona. Luis Enrique and Messi wasn't happy and he wanted to leave the club. And it's just amazing where we are today from where we were a couple months ago with how everything has changed. But look, Barca is in full control right now, and I think, like we said and we agree, I think they're my pick as well. But we will be doing a special TV show for that, the UEFA Champions League, as we get here. I know they're going to be awesome. And, Michael, the leagues are kind of around the world are kind of starting to wind down. We're kind of getting to the ends of the seasons. When you look at the respective leagues, I mean, the Premier League, we kind of know it's going to be Chelsea. We know it's Juventus. They've pretty much had Serie A locked up for a while. Your Bayern Munich already took care of business in the Bundesliga, and then obviously the La Liga is going to take a little bit more time to come down to the wire. But my question for you here is with Juventus, because part of the reason that I also think they have a really good shot against Real Madrid is because they've pretty much had Serie A locked up for months. I mean, basically since New Year's, we've known they've had a full control over Italian football. Does having that pressure taken off of them, of having the Scudetto in their pockets, has that really helped them play with a lot more ease and confidence during the Champions League?
I mean, what they can do is, like, when they have the league games, they can, like, play their players who usually don't start to rest the starters a little bit for that important game. It's very important for a soccer player. You always have to be fit and well rested. It's a huge advantage. Like, for example, Real Madrid, they're still fighting with Barcelona for that title, and they are not allowed to, like, play the subs. You know, that everyone would get crazy because the most important title is always the league title, the country title. So, but Juventus can do that. Juventus is in this situation. They can play the substitutes. Bayern Munich is in the same situation now. They don't have to play their best players on the weekend, so they can be 100% focused on the Champions League game. So it is an advantage, but sometimes it can also be a disadvantage because players lose rhythms, like rhythm of play. For example, a player like Ribéry, one time he said he needs to play every game because otherwise he's going to lose rhythm. So it depends always on the player, but I still think it's an advantage for Juventus Turin and Bayern Munich that they can play their players who usually don't start.
Well, very solid thoughts. Breaking down the UEFA Champions League matches we have coming up: Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus. We'll be back here, same time, different place in the studio, filming it live on TV. But as always with Soccer Showdown, I'm Jersey Joe Archino, joined by Michael Holzer. We'll be back next week, folks.